The family meeting was called for Sunday at 3, mandatory attendance according to my brother Marcus's text. I arrived at the estate, the sprawling Victorian where we'd grown up, to find Marcus standing in the foyer like he already owned the place. "Finally," he said when I walked in. "We've been waiting for you, Diane." In the dining room, my mother sat at the head of the table looking uncomfortable. My sister Claire was there with her husband, both of them glancing nervously at Marcus. And at the other end sat Marcus's lawyer, a slick-looking man in an expensive suit. "What's this about?" I asked, taking a seat. "It's about settling matters," Marcus said, remaining standing like he was chairing a board meeting. "Mom's been living in this house alone for 2 years since Dad died. It's too much for her. The property needs decisions." "Decisions about what?" I asked carefully. "About ownership. Transfer of title. Estate planning." Marcus gestured to his lawyer. "This is Richard Thornton. He's been helping me understand the legal situation." "Legal situation," I repeated. "The house," Marcus said impatiently. "According to tradition and common law, the family estate passes to the firstborn son. That's me. We need to formalize the transfer." I looked at my mother, who wouldn't meet my eyes. "Mom, is this what you want?" "I just want what's fair," she said quietly. "Fair is following tradition," Marcus said. "This mansion has been in the family for 3 generations. It should stay with the family name. I'm the eldest, I'm the son, I'm the one who can maintain the legacy." "And what about Mom?" I asked. "Where's she supposed to live?" "She can stay in the guest house," Marcus said, gesturing toward the small cottage at the back of the property. "It's plenty of space for one person. I'll be moving in with Sarah and the kids. We need the room." "You're evicting Mom to the guest house of her own property?" "It's not her property anymore," Marcus said firmly. "Dad's been dead for 2 years. The estate needs to settle. And as the firstborn son, the house comes to me." "Does it?" I asked mildly. "Of course it does. That's how these things work. Richard here has confirmed it. In the absence of a specific will stating otherwise, family property traditionally passes to the male heir." Richard Thornton cleared his throat. "It's a bit more complex than that, but in general principle, when there's no clear direction." "There is clear direction," I said quietly. Everyone turned to look at me. "There's a will. A trust, actually. Very specific, very detailed. Dad set it up 6 years before he died." Marcus's confident expression faltered slightly. "Mom said there was no will." "I said I didn't have a will," Mom corrected softly. "I never said your father didn't." "Where is this supposed will?" Marcus demanded. I pulled a folder from my bag. "Right here. Dad's trust documents. All properly executed, notarized, and filed with the probate court. Would you like to see them?" Marcus grabbed the folder, Richard leaning over his shoulder to read. I watched their expressions shift from confidence to confusion to growing alarm. "This says the house goes to Diane," Marcus said, his voice rising. "That can't be right. I'm the firstborn. And I'm the one who took care of Dad during his illness," I said calmly. "I'm the one who visited every day for 2 years. I'm the one who managed his medical care, handled his finances, made sure he was comfortable. That's why he left the house to me." "This is fraud," Marcus said, slamming the folder on the table. "You manipulated a dying man." "I did no such thing. Dad created this trust 6 years before he got sick. He was completely healthy, completely sound of mind. His attorney can confirm that. So can the notary. So can the witnesses who were present at the signing." Richard was reading through the documents more carefully now, his expression professional but grim. "These appear legitimate," he said to Marcus. "Properly executed, filed appropriately. The trust is ironclad." "So what are you saying?" Marcus demanded. "I'm saying the house legally belongs to your sister." The silence that followed was deafening. "For 2 years," Marcus said slowly, "you let us believe the estate was unsettled. You let me think the house would be mine." "Why?" "Because you never asked," I said. "You assumed. You came in here today with a lawyer and a plan to take the house, without ever once asking Mom what she wanted or checking if there was actually a will. You just assumed your tradition and your gender entitled you to Dad's property. I'm the son. And I'm the daughter who cared for him. Who sacrificed my career to be his caregiver. Who spent 2 years managing every aspect of his decline. Where were you during that time, Marcus? He had no answer. You visited twice, I continued. Twice in 2 years. Christmas and his birthday. You spent maybe 4 hours total with Dad in his final years. But you think you deserve his house because you're male. That's how estates work, Marcus insisted weakly. That's how they worked in the 1800s. This is the 21st century and Dad had the right to leave his property to whoever he chose. He chose me. Claire spoke up for the first time. Did Dad leave anything to the rest of us? I pulled out additional documents. Yes. Marcus gets the investment portfolio. About $300,000 in stocks and bonds. Claire gets the vacation cabin in Tahoe. Mom gets a lifetime right to live anywhere on the property, a living allowance from the estate and the car. I get the house and the responsibility of maintaining it. Responsibility, Marcus scoffed. You got a $2 million property. And a 40-year-old house that needs a new roof, updated electrical foundation work and constant maintenance. I got a money pit that I'll spend years and hundreds of thousands keeping up. Your portfolio is liquid, you can cash it out tomorrow. Claire's cabin is fully renovated and can be sold or enjoyed. You both got valuable, easy inheritances. I got work. So why take it? Claire asked. If it's such a burden? Because Dad asked me to. Because he loved this house and wanted someone who loved it too to take care of it. Because I was willing to accept the responsibility along with the asset. Marcus was reading through the documents again, his face red. This specifically says, as recognition for her devoted care during my final years. He basically paid you for caregiving. He left his property to someone who'd earned it through love and sacrifice, I corrected. Yes, he recognized that I gave up career opportunities, relationship time, and 2 years of my life to care for him. That matters. That's worth something. It's worth a house, apparently, Marcus said bitterly. It's worth what Dad thought it was worth. If you wanted the house, Marcus, you could have been there. You could have helped. You could have shown up for more than 2 awkward visits. I was busy. We were all busy. I had a career too. I had a life too. But I rearranged everything because Dad needed me. That was my choice, and Dad honored that choice in his estate plan. Richard Thornton closed his briefcase with a definitive click. There's nothing to contest here, he said to Marcus. The trust is valid, the distribution is clear, and the probate has been completed. Your sister is the legal owner of the property. So that's it. Marcus stood abruptly. She gets everything and we just accept it? You got $250,000 in investments, I pointed out. That's hardly nothing. It's not the house. No, it's not. The house is mine. And Marcus, if you'd asked me even once in the last 2 years how I was doing, how caregiving was affecting me, if I needed any help, I might have been more sympathetic right now. But you didn't. You disappeared during the hard parts and showed up today expecting to claim the reward. Marcus grabbed his coat. This isn't over. Actually, it is, Richard said. I'm advising you as your attorney that any legal challenge would be expensive and futile. The trust is solid. You'd be wasting money fighting a battle you can't win. After Marcus stormed out, Claire lingered. For what it's worth, she said quietly, I think Dad made the right choice. I know what you gave up to take care of him. The Tahoe cabin is more than fair for me. Thank you, I said. After Claire and her husband left, it was just me, Mom, and Richard. I should go as well, Richard said. Ms. Morrison, I'll send you my bill for today's consultation. And for what it's worth, your father's trust documents are some of the most well-crafted I've seen. He clearly thought very carefully about this. After he left, Mom finally met my eyes. I'm sorry I didn't tell Marcus about the trust. I didn't want the conflict. So you let him build up expectations for something he was never going to get? I thought maybe if I stayed quiet you two might work it out yourselves. That was cowardly of me. It was, I agreed. But I understand. Marcus has always been forceful. It's easier to avoid than confront. What happens now? Mom asked. Now you keep living here in your home for as long as you want. The trust is clear. You have lifetime residency rights. This is still your house, Mom. I just handle the boring stuff like taxes and maintenance. And Marcus will get over it eventually. Or he won't. Either way, the house is settled. Dad made his choice, the law recognizes it, and that's final. Marcus did try to fight it. He hired another lawyer, filed a contest claiming undue influence and mental incompetence. It went nowhere. Dad's original attorney testified that Dad had been completely sound, had initiated the trust himself, and had very specific reasons for his distribution choices. The judge dismissed the contest within 20 minutes, and Marcus was ordered to pay court costs. After that, he stopped coming to family events. Stopped calling. Made it clear through Claire that he wanted nothing to do with me. I tried to feel bad about it. I couldn't quite manage it. The house was mine. Legally, clearly, finally. I spent 6 months renovating the worst issues. New roof, updated electrical foundation repairs. Cost $140,000, which I paid from my own savings. Marcus's stock portfolio, meanwhile, had grown to $350,000. He'd done quite well with his inheritance, though he'd never admit it. Mom stayed in the main house. We had dinner together twice a week. She finally seemed relaxed, no longer walking on eggshells trying to keep peace between her children. "Your father knew," she said one evening over coffee. "He knew Marcus would assume the house was his. He knew there would be conflict. But he also knew you'd handle it. I'm not sure I handled it well. You stood your ground. You didn't back down when Marcus tried to bully you. That's exactly what your father hoped you'd do." I looked around the dining room, the same room where Marcus had so confidently announced his claim to property he didn't own. The same room where Dad and I had shared countless meals during his illness, where he'd talked about his hopes for the house, his certainty that I would care for it properly. "I miss him," I said. "Me too," Mom said. "But he's still here in a way. In every choice he made to protect what mattered to him. You were what mattered to him, Diane. This house is just wood and stone. You were the real inheritance he cared about." The trust document sat in my safe. Proof of ownership, proof of love, proof that showing up matters more than birth order. Marcus had assumed tradition would triumph. But Dad had written a different kind of tradition. One where sacrifice was rewarded, where presence was valued, where the person who actually cared got to keep what they'd earned. The firstborn son got a portfolio. The devoted daughter got a home. And the legal records made it permanent. Some inheritances are given by right of birth. Others are earned through years of quiet devotion. I'd earned mine. The trust documents proved it. And no amount of masculine entitlement could change what the law had already settled. The mansion was mine. The paperwork said so. And finally, even Marcus had to accept it.